Hey you guys, welcome back to Caramel TV. In today's video, we're going to be working on a front porch refresh. I still had my Christmas decor up and it was definitely time for a mini makeover. So I'm starting with a bow for my lantern. I grabbed some zip ties. You can also use pipe cleaner, but I find that you can get the zip tie much tighter than the pipe cleaner. I've snapped a few pipe cleaners in my day. But totally use what you have on hand. I also grabbed this ribbon from Michael's, and then you'll just need a pair of scissors. Now I start my bow by making my center loop, and I'm not cutting anything until the end, but I'm going to start by making my center loop, and I'm just going to hold it in the center, so like the bottom center of the loop, and then I'm going to go in and make a figure 8. So this ribbon is the same on both sides, so I can just start making my figure 8s. I don't need to twist. And so I'm going to make my figure 8s. I'm going to loop it and still hold that center piece. So I'm just grabbing that center and holding it in the center section each time that I do a figure 8. And I'm also going to make sure that those loops are the same size. And then you can do these figure 8s to your heart's content. I usually do 3 figure 8s, so 3 loops on each side. You can do more though, and the more that you do, the fuller your bow will be. And so this is what it looks like holding it in that center section. Now I'm going to make a bigger loop, and this is going to end up being my tails. And now I'm going to cut the top of that center loop. So I'm holding it in that center section still and cutting past that center section so that I can include that piece in the zip tie. So now I'm going to cinch in that center section, and I'm going to grab my zip tie . And then I'm going to wrap that zip tie around that center section. And you're going to pull that zip tie nice and tight. And this is what it should look like. And then you're just gonna snip off that extra zip tie piece. Now I'm gonna pull down on that center loop, that's going to be my tails. And I'm gonna find the center of that big loop. And then I'm going to fold it outside edge to outside edge. And I'm gonna cut a diagonal from the inside to the outside. And then this is what is going to create that dovetail. And then you're gonna fluff your bow. And this is what she's looking like. I do end up cutting my dovetails in half down the center because I felt like they were too thick. So I used one set for the tails, and then the other set I used to secure the bow around the top of the lantern. And I just cut them right down the center, right where that center point is. Now we're moving on to the lantern. I first had to remove all of this Christmas stuff. So all this Christmas decor needed to come out. And I have a little bin next to me to store all the things that I'm removing. So I'm gonna wrap these lights up. And I'm just wrapping these fairy lights. I'm gonna wrap them around my hand. I wouldn't recommend that though. You should probably take a piece of cardboard and wrap them around that. It's easier that way, like you'll thank yourself next year when you're pulling them out to use them, because they tangle really easily. So wrapping them around a piece of cardboard is a way better idea than what I'm going to do with them. Now I'm gonna vacuum all of this snow out. You can dump it out. I didn't want to dump it out because it totally makes a mess and I didn't want to do that. So I did vacuum this instead. And then I'm going to move on to that top piece of Christmas decor. Now I'm gonna go in with my spray away and my e-cloth and give this thing a good wipe down. I didn't realize how polleny, that's not a word, how polleny this was. So it's outside, I live in Florida, had a lot of stuff on it. So I'm gonna give it a good wipe down. So I always like to start with a clean slate. So I'm gonna wipe it down inside and out. All right, so it's all clean and I'm going to cover the bottom with moss. I got this off of Amazon and I'll link all the stuff that I'm using in the description box below for you. And so I'm gonna dump this out and kind of fluff it and move it around to make sure that it's covering the bottom of the lantern. Then I'm putting in this cute little plant stand. I found this jewel at Hobby Lobby for $6.24. And then the little plant was also from Hobby Lobby and that was $9.99. And all that's left to do now is just tie on this bow. And like I said, I cut those dovetails in half so the dovetails are a little thinner. And I'm using the other half to secure that bow around the top of the lantern. I wanted to keep it really simple and clean. Something that could take me all the way through spring. And this is the finished lantern. Now it's time to remove all the rest of the Christmas decor, and I'm going to take everything off the patio. So I'm going to take all of the furniture, the rugs, the little lantern by the door. I'm taking everything off the patio. So again, I can start with a clean slate. Now I'm just going to take a minute to sweep the whole porch off, and then I'll end up bringing all of the furniture back in. I'm actually trying to count the pavers here to make sure that I have everything center. So I'm literally counting the bricks to make sure that it's right in the center of that little opening between the columns. Now I'm gonna grab the chairs and put those back. This little set came from Wayfair. This will also be linked below in the description box. And we actually have 2 sets of these. I have one on the back patio also. We'll have that back patio refresh coming up soon. Now I'm gonna work on changing out the pillowcases. So the ones that I had before were Christmas, and I'm gonna change them out to these black and white ones. These guys came from Amazon as well. And now I'm gonna grab that lantern that we just created, and I'm gonna place that on that center table. Now we're moving on to the rugs. So the striped one is from Amazon, and then I'm going to layer this striped one with a plain black rug, and that one I got from At Home. And now I'm going in with a little topiary for that corner section, and then this magnolia wreath. I actually have a magnolia tree on the left side of the patio, so I thought that this would be super cute to add to the door. These both also came from At Home, but I felt like the topiary was a little bit too small, so I ended up switching this out for my snake plant instead. And this is the finished patio. Guys, I hope this gives you some inspiration. If you like these kinds of home decor videos, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and you'll be notified when we upload a new video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys soon.